I'm Harriette Cole, here with the legendary Ntozake Shange in your wonderful home in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. Thank you for inviting us to be with you.
Oh, thank you for coming. It's been wonderful just anticipating this.
Oh, you know, I remember when For Colored Girls came out. I was young, and here was this incredible play on Broadway that you had created. Can you set the scene for how For Colored Girls got to Broadway?
Well, we came from Berkeley and San Francisco, and there were two of us, Paula Moss and myself, the choreographer and the poet, and we performed at the Alternative Jazz Festival, which was what some of the guys were proposing to do as opposed to George Weinstein's Newport Jazz Festival. And then we went to De Monte's Cafe, which was a wonderful little restaurant also on 3rd Street. And we did a performance with actors, which was amazing to me because I had never heard anybody read my work but me. And so it began to become something other than I had imagined.
Than your performance, and you being the performance artist.
Right.
And how did Scott come to work with you to bring the play to Broadway?
Well, my sister, Ifa Baeza, who also worked with me on some Sing, Some Cry with me, knew Oz. He was a stage manager, and she knew he wanted to become a director, so she brought him in, and Oz helped with casting, and they helped me build an arc, and it was just wonderful. And then we went from De Monte's to the Woody King's New Federal Theater, and then we went to Beyond Soccer Theater at the Public Theater, and then from the Public Theater we went to the Booth Theater on Broadway.
When you created this collection of poems, did you imagine that For Colored Girls would be this international phenomenon?
When it became commercially successful is what blew my mind, because I had always been a fringe sort of person, and it was totally baffling to me. And I had no concept of how significant the name Broadway meant to actors and dancers.
Coming from Berkeley to Broadway.
Right.
And then for students, because there are many students who study this play, I mean, and have done for many, many years.
Right.
Have you gone to schools to work with students as they've worked on your play?
No, I've sort of let go of my show. It's almost 40 years now since I wrote that, and I sort of let them have, the theater departments have the rights to get the option for an amateur production. That's about all I do. Every once in a while I might go see a production, but that's not too often, because I feel like I've done everything I could for Colored Girls, and now she's on her own.
Well, now she's in the hands of Tyler Perry, as a matter of fact.
Yes.
Some big hands.
Yes.
And the film is coming out soon. There is an adaptation to your play that's been created. What has that been like for you as the creator of this poetry, to have someone, Tyler Perry, take it to make it into a movie?
They called me and said he had a surprise for me, maybe a very good surprise or a very bad surprise. Bad surprise. And I said, well, what the hell is that about?
Very good or very bad?
Yeah, and then he said, I have Mr. Tyler Perry on the phone, and he'd like to talk to you. I'm going like, I had put the phone down. I said, what the hell does he want to talk to me about? And I'm going like, because I've never been a big fan of slapstick. But anyway, they wanted to know if Mr. Perry could be involved in the film production of For Colored Girls, who have considered Suicide When the Rainbow Is Enough. And I took, I think, maybe 30 seconds, maybe not that long. And I said, well, Madea cannot be in my show in any way whatsoever. And they said, oh, there won't be any, there won't be any, there won't be any. And I had another thing. There's another thing on my mind that I forbid, but I don't remember what it is.
Hopefully he did.
Yes.
Hopefully you
yes.
put that in writing, right?
Yes. Oh, I have all lawyers. I have all things
Very
now.
good. Very good. So, your creative process. I'm interested in how you approach writing.
That's sort of funny, but I like to. I have no preference about time of day to write, but I'm doing it after I come out of the bed. And I go to shower and I put on perfume and powder and I put my makeup on and I get a nice negligee, like I'm going somewhere. And I'm
in the negligee.
In the negligee, like I'm gonna go to the front room or the kitchen, wherever my stuff is set up, and I know I look beautiful and I'm approaching this thing, and I can either write in a journal or I can write on the computer. But anyway, I made myself very elegant to approach this new task. And it makes me feel better. It makes me feel like I'm doing something.
So I know that in the recent past you've had some health challenges.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously you've written through them, but can you speak to what's been happening with you?
The 2000s, in the early 2000s, I had a series of strokes, which I couldn't walk, I couldn't talk, couldn't remember how to read. Maya Angelou was lovely. She sent me all these children's books that she had written that could help me recognize letters and words. And there were a lot of supportive people for me. Claude Sloan's one, my sisters were one, my daughter, Savannah, and
how did you get from the debilitation of the strokes to being as present and capable as you are today?
I go to therapy a lot. I have physical therapy and I have a shrink and a psychologist.
Did you have a dark period emotionally as a result
Oh, I
of all
did. I
this?
thought I was going to die. Well, they told me I might die because they couldn't figure out why I wasn't dead already. People would come to see me and I wouldn't know who they were. It was very distressing.
But you have moved through that.
I'm still moving through.
What are your challenges today?
Going through this period of interviews.
You're doing great.
Going through this thing of interviews, it's really challenging me because I have to remember, and I don't have all recall of my memory back. So I might say one thing to one interviewer, and then I might say something else to another interviewer and not remember.
Now, you spoke yesterday at your book signing about developing characters and how your characters often live in the world of fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something that is drawn upon from your own life? Can you speak to that character development a bit?
I don't think the characters are from my real lifetime. They spear off sometimes just from an object or from like a day like today. There's a line in some Sing Some Cry. It was a Charlie Parker sort of day, and this would be another kind of Charlie Parker day. So it can be the weather. It can be a spot on the rug. It could be my friend who wears his hat backwards sometimes. I make him taller and broader, and then I have a new character. But he don't know.
Thank you so much.
Well,
it's wonderful
you.
to meet you and talk with you about your incredible career.
It's been a pleasure.